So I'm Nick Winter. I'm the founder and CEO of Code Combat, which is game-based learning for learning to code. So if you picture in your mind what education is going to look like in 10 years in the classroom, just think about it. It's not going to be a teacher giving a one-size-fits-all lecture to 25 students based on some material that she cobbled together herself. It's going to be more data-driven, right? It's going to be the world's most experienced teacher teaching students one-on-one, taking them through the best curriculum the world has to offer. And this is similar to how a self-driving car might drive better than a human driver because it's had more data. The AI teacher is going to have billions of hours of experience teaching students and helping them through their own personalized journey towards whatever subject it is. And just as a self-driving car company would have a big data advantage, so too would a company that had the data in order to really optimize the learning journey in education, and we want to be that company. So we're starting with computer science. It's the had marketable skill, it's the hottest growing market, and it's the hardest subject to teach right now. And we had previously taught Chinese characters. We were the #1 app for foreigners to learn to write Chinese. And we learned how to make EdTech teach really hard things. But then we went on to do something that we knew was going to be the future, something that we all cared about, which is coding. But there's a problem with coding, which is that you can't hire a computer science teacher to teach it. Because if you hired a teacher that actually had these coding skills to teach computer science, then they would just become a software engineer and make twice as much money. So even if you train them up, which is very expensive and very difficult, then they leave. So how can you teach computer science? It's this hot skill. All the countries are going to be doing it. Many countries are already doing it. Many states are already doing it. We want to catch up. We want to give our kids these 21st century skills that they're going to need. But we can't create a teacher training pipeline to do it. And so even if you were able to train these teachers, you also have a problem of engaging the students. I mean, we talked a lot about computational thinking and kind of computer literacy, but if you really want to go beyond, and that's really good especially for younger students, but if you really want to go and actually teach coding, actually teach these job skills that are going to be useful in the 21st century, then you need to go beyond getting them interested. You want to get them interested in writing, say, real Python, real JavaScript. But that is something that at the university level even, we've had horrific failure rates, 30–40% in those intro CS classes for undergrads. For people who think they might want to be CS majors, we're spending a lot of money to be there. And so you want to do that to all of public school sixth graders. And you can see there's a challenge here if you take the traditional approach. So what we started out doing is solving it through really, really good software. So computer science, it needs specialized curriculum. You can't teach it with the same approach and the same kind of media-based style that you can teach other subjects with. So we created Code Combat as a coding game that teaches real code with game-based learning and no teacher training needed. So students, they just jump straight in, typing Python, and from about 5th, 6th grade. Basically, as soon as they can reliably type, they can start learning to code with Code Combat. And the teacher is then positioned as the content expert. We've seen a lot of adoption of this method. It's very natural for the students to go in and play a real game, not kind of gamified lectures or lessons, but a real game-based learning game that they would play even if they weren't in school, which is how we got our start. We started this for the home market first. And so when you have all these kids naturally playing, and they just happen to be learning the #1 job skill in this fastest growing market, this hardest subject to teach. And then you put that into the classroom where you create all your curricula, your standards alignment, your teacher training materials, your handouts, your worksheets, your lesson plans, your assessments, etc. With that real project-based learning, then it's really easy to adopt in the schools. We've had this huge bottoms-up adoption, 17,000 schools in the US using Code Combat. And that's only half our traffic. So there's all these other countries that are into it. We don't really have the kind of sales force to go after all of that. So our main market focuses the US and China, so great middle and high schools. We're not going after the elementary schools because I think there's a lot of really great solutions out there when you don't need to do text-based coding. So this drag and drop stuff that you might see from something like code.org or Scratch or Tinker, those are really great when you're kind of in your K through 4, K through 5, and then once they start getting the ability to type, they want to get deeper. That's where Code Combat comes in with real Python and JavaScript. There's huge growth in this market. I don't think I need to go over this slide very much. It's very quickly growing. The AP CSP exam, fastest growing AP exam launch ever. But the interesting part is not just in the US, it's also worldwide. So you've got dozens of countries who have mandated coding, not least of which is China, which is a very interesting market for us. So if you have any connections in China, we should definitely talk. The disposable household income percentage spent on supplementary education in China is 20%. In the US, it's 2%. And in China, 31% of your bachelor's degrees are awarded in engineering. In the US, it's 4%. So China's already got this huge focus on it, and similar teacher training problems to ourselves. And so Chinese government recently having announced that Python is going to be kind of mandated in middle and high schools. We, having just launched in China with a fully localized version of our curriculum, it's a pretty good match, and that's where a lot of our focus is going, in addition to the US. So I want to keep us on time. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but we're open source. We have 25 people in San Francisco, and if you'd like to learn more, then please come talk to me. Thanks.